Hey, podcaster. I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can grow your authority and convert with ease. Today's tip is all about hiring an editor. Let's start with what is a podcast editor and what do they do? This isn't as easy as you might think because there's a big spectrum of types of editors and the duties they perform. I want to keep this simple because we can go deep and get messy, so let's keep it to what they do, do you need one, how much do they cost, and how to shop for one. Like I said, the podcast editor spectrum is wide and complicated. So let's start at the lower end of things. This would include an editor putting all your tracks together, trimming the top and tail, maybe attaching some music at the front and back, gluing it together, and exporting your MP3 file. Pretty simple basics, right? Now, the middle range of the spectrum is vast and varying. Some editors will use software and or AI to remove the silent gaps or the ums and the ahs and run it through a processor, do some audio sweetening, make sure the levels are adjusted to even, and that's about it. The upper middle range in this mix is someone who is manually editing your show and actually listens to it. They'll fix the mishaps, the stumbles, clean up any background noises or distracting audio. They might drop in a mid-roll commercial for you, have a little more finesse when it comes to mixing music or sound effects into the show, etc. They tend to have more experience and more tools at their disposal for sweetening the audio and maintaining a consistent level of quality for your show. Now, at the high end of the spectrum is an editor who is borderlining on the producer role because they're making editorial decisions about the show. Their experience is coming into play here, listening and editing to the show, but they're also deciding when there's a section of the episode that maybe is repetitive or is confusing, or maybe someone misspoke. So they might have to pull out a word and find the right word somewhere else and replace it. They might call you to re-record something. Maybe it wasn't clear or it was off message or off brand for that episode. So they're a little more invested in your show. This is the highest level of editing, and you'll pay for it. So, as a business person and a podcaster, why would you hire an editor? Reason number one, you don't know how to edit and you have no interest in doing it. Reason number two, you might hire an editor. You've learned how to edit, but it's taking a lot longer than you want it to because you're still figuring it out as you go. Reason number three, you have the money and you know your time is better spent doing income-generating activities in your business. It's what you do best, right? And reason number four, you might hire an editor. The caliber of your podcast doesn't match the quality of your brand. Okay, so those are a few reasons to hire an editor. Do any of those sound like you? Are you thinking to yourself, why am I still editing my show? I need an editor. But how do I hire an editor? What should I be looking for considering this huge spectrum Tim just talked about? Well, I'm glad you asked. A good place to start might be podcasters you know. If you like the sound of their show, ask them. Who do they use? You might look to sites like Upwork or Fiverr, and that's perfectly fine. There are many talented editors that can be found on these service sites, but you need to shop around a little. You should approach the hiring of any help the same way. You want to interview at least 3 people, right? You want to find out whereabout they are on the spectrum and how they will be editing your show. Do they edit manually? Do they listen to the entire episode? Are they removing every and ah or breath? I'm going to give you a few more questions to ask in a second, but the first thing you need to know is, what do you want from an editor? That's going to determine your budget. And podcast editing costs range from $30 an episode at the low end of that spectrum to around the $100 to $150 range for that middle tier, and then upwards to $300 or $500 an episode when you get into that editor/producer role and duties. Sometimes there are add-ons like uploading to your host or pulling short clips for social media, so be prepared to pay extra for stuff like that. Some packages have that stuff baked into them too. The other really important thing to do before you hire an editor is to listen to what they've already edited. Ask for the links to the shows that they've worked on. They should have no problem sharing those with you. Check out their ratings and reviews. Some editors will agree to do one of your episodes for free as a trial. And before you sign on with anyone, make sure you know exactly what you're agreeing to and what's included. Find out things like, what's the process that you have in place for communication? What's the process you have in place for transferring files? Are they going to post your show? Do you have options for any revisions? What's their lead time, as in how soon ahead of your publication date do they need it? And can you stay ahead of that? What is the maximum length of raw audio for an episode they will accept? Is there a fee for going over that limit? Are there late fees when it comes to submitting your audio? As you can hear, there are a lot of things to consider when hiring an editor. In a nutshell, determine if you need one. Shop around. Know exactly what's included, what's not included, and the terms so there are no surprises. And remember, as with most things, you usually get what you pay for. Outsourcing your editor is like buying your time back when you hire right. And I hope that's just the tip you need. If you're wondering whether or not your show is living up to your brand and whether you might benefit from an editor, ask me. Book a free 15-minute coaching call. Let's pull up your show, we'll have a quick listen, and talk about what can be improved. You'll discover a lot in one simple call. Book your free 15-minute coaching call at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Walberg. See ya!